Enlightenment is not about being happy all the time. That is one of the biggest misconceptions, that we never suffer, that we never struggle, that we never get depressed, that we never have problems or feel sad. The distinction is we don't need to be happy all the time. And that is such a huge gulf between how most people live their lives and someone that is spiritually aware or awakening. There is no sense of attachment that I need to be happy, I need to be upbeat, I need to be cheerful, I need to put on a face or a charade that I'm a spiritual person and act loving. And that is something that really erodes our spirit. The best thing we can do to harness our spiritual power or empowerment is to be authentic, to be real. And if we're feeling sad, to embrace that sadness and accept it and not try to fight it. It is the magic or beauty of life. It's the yin and yang. And it's like so much of our suffering is due to the fact that we only want the good in life. We only want to feel upbeat. We only want good things. We only want to be happy. We don't want to suffer. We don't want to struggle. And some of the most profitable spiritual food is suffering. Feeling down, feeling sad, being depressed. Now, I'm not talking about being depressed or sad perpetually, but being okay and accepting the state we're in. There's no resistance, there's no fighting, and you feel a sense of freedom, elation, no matter what your emotional state is. You're no longer attached to your emotional state. You're no longer attached to not suffering. And a strange thing happens the moment we allow ourselves the space to feel what we're feeling and not to fight it. That emotion, that negative emotion, dissipates. It no longer holds power over us. And what really energizes negative energy or the pain body is that resistance, that fighting. Well, I should be happy, I should be this, I should be that. And I see it in so many spiritual or religious circles. You know, when spiritual people or religious people get together, they wear their happy face and everything's wonderful and everything's fine and nobody says anything to offend or speaks the truth. It's almost like a charade. It's a sense of phoniness that we bring to situations because we believe that's how we are supposed to act. So when people ask us how we're doing, oh, we're doing great, good, fine, how are you? Well, most of the time people don't care how we're doing, so we don't even bother. But there is such freedom in just being yourself. And it's strange because once we get in the spiritual circles, whether it's Eckhart's teachings or Christian teachings or Buddhist teachings, there's this underlying set of rules within that community that we are supposed to follow. Certain ways we're supposed to say things, certain actions we're supposed to do, and then we mold, kind of cram our personality or our spirit into this mold, and we follow the unspoken or sometimes spoken rules. And there's a sense of loss of identity of who we truly are when we sell out, basically. And there's something that is just really enjoyable and to be relished about someone that is still able to keep their individuality, keep their difference, and be true to themselves and be honest in communication. It is taboo in most New Age or spiritual circles to be radically honest, to tell people what our true feelings are, to tell people the shortcomings and struggles that we have along the path, and to keep things open and honest and authentic. That is just not what people want to hear. What people want to hear is that everything's fine. And I'm generalizing, I realize this. But in most spiritual circles that I've encountered, that everything's fine, everything's wonderful, and we accept everybody, we love everybody, we don't judge, and it's all unicorn, cotton candy, and rainbows. And some of the most helpful, loving, most spiritual things you can do with other people is to be radically honest with them, is to tell them from the heart where you think that they might be falling off the mark, where they might be setting the bar too low, where their source of suffering might be coming from. And not in a mean, negative way, but in a loving way. I've been on dates with girls, and I'll sit and it'll be like at 45 minutes, an hour will pass, and the girl's just blah, 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 talking about herself the whole time. And I'll say, stop. Do you realize for the past 45 minutes you have nonstop talked about yourself, and that it is very unappealing, and it's a turnoff to most guys when they go out with girls that talk incessantly about themselves. And it would be nice to have an interaction, a communication where there's listening, there's questions, and it's kind of like a rally, playing tennis. Here I hit the ball to you, then you hit the ball to me. It's a symphony. It's something that's very beautiful, and your self-absorption is just killing it for me. And I'll tell them this, and yes, this is very offensive to some people, and how can you say that? And many women I never hear from again, but it's something that to me is an act of love, because I'm saying I care more about you, that you're not going to like me, that you're going to disapprove of me, to be honest with you. So maybe in the future, when you're out on another date, you might be more interested in the other person, or you might listen more. And it just shocks people. That level of honesty is really non-existent, especially in spiritual circles, because immediately I'd be labeled as judgmental, condemning. How could you say this? And really, it is something that shows that you care about a person. So, I don't know. I think that just let's not box ourselves in with all these spiritual rules and dogmas and ideologies. There is something very inspirational and magical and phenomenal about the spirit. It can't be boxed, it can't be confined, it can't be trapped or imprisoned. And once you do that, it starts to suffocate. It's fluid, it's like water. It goes where the stream takes it. And when you dam it up, it has all kinds of repercussions. Yeah, in the short run, it's probably easier. Everyone keeps a phony smile on their face and is quite pleasant, and everything's comfortable and safe. But there's that passion that is lacking, and that passion that really is like a slow drowning. We're just trying to get everyone to like us and just to be pleasant, and it's just a real bore. So practicing radical honesty, not only with other people, but with ourselves. And we're often very blinded to our own faults and shortcomings. And some of the most spiritually liberating information I have received is like taking medicine. It is stuff that, going down, it tasted bad, and it made me cringe, but it made me a better person. And in our lives, when we embrace that, and when we personally embrace all of life, the whole rainbow of life, the good, the bad, the ugly, life becomes magical. You no longer are attached to any set outcome. You can just flow with life and let it take you where it may. Thank you very much for listening.